Hi. So, how do you feel about humans exploiting other animals?
I don't fucking like it. That's not
Right.
okay. We're all beings. We all have the right to respect over our bodies and what's going on with us, regardless of if we can communicate through language, English. Like we all communicate in our own ways.
Right, I totally agree. So yeah, you agree that we should respect other animals and respect each other.
Absolutely.
So, this is going to be a little bit of a harder question, but do you really think that we can respect somebody else while unconsensually consuming their flesh or their milk or their eggs?
I think that's a really great question, and it has me thinking. Like my first answer is like in the way of I kind of take it as veganism, like taking their milk or their eggs, um, and no, like I think that every single person is extremely different and what we want to do and how we want to do it and how we look at life. I would
Right.
say inherently, like, no, like, I don't think, like, this cow can't be like, yes, you can take my milk, And I think the way we do that is extremely wrong. The way we house these animals and the way we treat them and the way we take these things from them, such as eggs, such as milk, whatever. Um, and it's really horrible how it's done in overproduction and these beings can't consent to that. And of course they wouldn't in that such a horrible way. I do think there are ways to go about that in the sense of, you know, having your own farm and such and treating your animals with kindness and understanding that like these beings are helping us, so in turn I help them and I take care of them to the best of my ability and respect that and appreciate what they give me. I think the way
Right.
we
But
do
is
things in the
there,
world in our society is wrong. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah, you're okay. But I mean, is there honestly a way that we can respect somebody else while unconsensually consuming their flesh or their milk or their eggs?
Definitely not their flesh.
But we
And no,
can
I guess.
what about their milk and their eggs? You think we can respect somebody while unconsensually consuming their breast milk or their ovulation?
Okay, so in as a woman, no, like I don't well, like in woman terms with as a woman with with my rights, absolutely not. Like I in the only way of like using my eggs and my milk, you would be taking those from me because I don't consent in that. So no, I don't think there's a consensual way in that
Right.
regard. As human beings, absolutely not. I am the only person with the right to my body. And if I am unable to speak, then that is a no. Absolutely.
Right. And it's the same with the non-human animals, right?
You're right.
Just like babies, they're unable to give us informed consent. So, my dear, do you know what do you think veganism means?
I would think vegan, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, I am so knowledgeable about this topic and I know everything about it because I
That's okay.
don't.
That's okay.
I personally don't eat meat and that's everything. Like that's it for me. But, in like terms of veganism, I would say that it's not consuming, like things that come from animals. So, like that milk, the eggs, meat in general. I think that it's more of like a raw food focused diet. I could definitely be wrong about that because I know that there are substitutes for things and I don't know what all that entails. But for me, that's what I would say that was is just like not partaking in any animal substance that comes from them strictly.
Yeah, so I mean, it's actually not a diet. That's like a common misconception. Veganism is the principle that humans should live without exploiting animals. So you're right, vegans don't consume products from animals. We also don't use them for transportation or use their skin, wear their skin or their fur, or just use them for any reason
Right.
or exploit them at all. And, it sounds like this is kind of in line with your beliefs since you think that we shouldn't exploit them. So I'm wondering, would there be anything that would be stopping you from going vegan?
Honestly, like for me, no, because I already don't eat meat, and then taking out those other things, there's not many things that I indulge in that go into that. Um, so the hardest part for me is like I live in rural Texas where we don't have very many options like that. I do kind of the best I can in like using, I've mentioned that I'm a vegetarian. So like I use like cauliflower nuggets and like stuff like that, like more plant based. And I don't, my selection of that is Walmart, HEB. And so I use the options that are available to me, but I don't like go out and seek to substitute those or try to find other alternatives, which I could definitely do better at. It's not something that I'm opposed to. I guess it's just the way that I'm living my life right now. And, the way I buy groceries and the things that I'm able to work with. Does that make sense?
I hear you, but it's definitely possible for you to go vegan. I actually lived in rural Texas for a while, living in my car, but right now I'm living kind of in the middle of nowhere again, but I'm in Portugal this time. But like most ingredients are vegan already. And the cheapest foods on the market are already vegan, like beans and rice and grains and legumes and pasta and potatoes, and there's hundreds of thousands of edible plant foods. Um, it's like I'm just wondering though, like if you were in the animal's position, if you were like a cow being exploited for her milk, or a chicken being exploited for her eggs, or a baby boy born in one of those industries that was being killed because he doesn't have breast milk or an ovulation cycle, like what would be your one wish from you?
I'm not, okay, wait, I'm sorry. I'm not sure of ask me again. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so like if you were in the victim's position, like if you were a cow being exploited for her breast milk, or a chicken being exploited for her ovulation,
Oh.
or a male born into one of those industries that was going to be killed because he doesn't have breast milk or an ovulation, what would be your one wish from humans?
I guess to like listen, not even if it's going to save like my life as this is the way, but listen and like understand what you're doing, understand the repercussions that come with that. And like these animals tell us, they do. Our world is telling us that they're tired of it, that this isn't okay. And the way that we've been going is harming not only us, but all of them. And if we as human beings would just open our ears and listen to that and acknowledge and actually like be willing to change that, that would be my wish is open your fucking eyes and like see what's going on and what you're doing and how
Yeah.
this is affecting things. Because when you take like eventually we're going to overexploit these cows so much that I mean we've gotten there. We have fake meat, we've actually we're at that point in our society where like we have literally drained them for all that they're worth. We're overproducing all of these chickens so much so that like they're tiny little bitty things, and it's just it's not right. And I think that we all know that. And so it would just my wish be as the victim in the situation would be for us to stop lying to ourselves and fix it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. If you've ever seen like slaughterhouse footage or footage from the dairy industry or egg industries, you can clearly see that they don't want to be exploited, they don't want to be harmed, they want to live, they want rights to their bodies, they want to be with their families, they want us to leave them alone. Um, and like, so do you think that like if you were in their position, would you want the injustice to end like in a month, in a week, tomorrow, or right now?
Well, in the position of the animal and in the position of me right now in this moment, of course I want it to end right now. And it's not something that has to continue. It's not something like we all have the ability to stop that, you know?
We do. It's 100% built on like money, you know? Like as soon as the demand for these products, as soon as like our demand with our dollar for this injustice ends, that's when it will end. That's when they'll be free. So, do you think that the number of animals being exploited by you should be zero or a number more than zero?
The number should be zero.
Right. So will you be vegan from now on so that no more animals have to be exploited by you?
I will definitely consider it in a different light and perspective and a better understanding. You've definitely made me understand it so much more in the way of it's not like what you eat, it's a principle of how you live. And that's really important to me and I do value that. Um so I'm definitely gonna like come at it with a different perspective and understanding and yeah, see if that's something that I want to take on for sure.
Right, yeah, I'm here to be a voice for the animals because they can't stand up for themselves. So that's what I'm here to do. And, I'm wondering, like, if you were in the victim's position, would you want somebody to consider stopping exploiting you or to just stop exploiting you and just decide that no more?
Yes, in the animal's position and in my position, I want to say no, absolutely not. But my words to me hold an extreme amount of meaning. And I don't want to sit here and be like, yes, I'm cutting off veganism for you right now. Because maybe that's not the way like it's going to work out for me. And I don't want to sit here and tell all these people and tell you that it is because I may like I don't know if I'm going to commit to this as soon as we get off this live. But I'm definitely gonna like consider like I'm gonna look into it for myself and definitely see if this is like a change that I want to make. And no, absolutely for the slaughterhouses and for all of those and for the animal, it should stop right now. It should. But in the reality of the situation, our world is continuing, whether we're on this live or not, and whether I make this decision. And I don't want to sit here and be like, yes, I'm turning this lifestyle when I'm not sure about it. This 10-minute live, I don't want to say did that.
Right, and yeah, it's true. The world is going to keep on continuing no matter what we do. We only have responsibility for our own actions. Just like how, whether or not I decide to be racist or sexist, that's not going to end racism and sexism in the world. It's about taking responsibility for your own actions. And with that, I want you to know that the number one benefit of being vegan for you, it's that you can say, I'm against exploitation and I'm against oppression, and you're not like a hypocrite and you're being morally consistent with your actions and your beliefs. And then, of course, the number one benefit for the animals is that they're no longer being exploited and oppressed by you. But, until you decide to go vegan, you are responsible for animals being exploited and oppressed. And I know that that's not in line with your beliefs, but you could change that today. You really could. You could decide today, no more animals are going to be exploited by me.
You're right. And like, I do, I take those animals and I do try to align like my chorus values with respecting them. And you're right, by not eating sour cream and cheese, I can 100% do that. And so, that's definitely something that's a step I'm going to take.
So you'll be vegan from now on?
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm really happy to hear that. Thank you for thinking about it from like with love and compassion and from the victim's perspective because they need all of us, really. They seriously need all of us.
Definitely.
Yeah. My dear, is there anything else you would like to add to the conversation, or do you have any like questions or anything you'd want to be clarified? Yeah, win guest, W guest, do it for the animals.
There isn't. This has been, I've really enjoyed this. This was a great conversation. It wasn't something I was expecting. I didn't know what I was expecting when I joined the live. I just jumped in. But I loved the conversation. I think it was extremely important and I'm glad that we could talk about it today.